Greetings, ma'am. Our group going to present about the book Volga to Ganga by Rahul Sankrityayana. Volga to Ganga is the most popular book of Rahul Sankrityayana, explorer, traveler, and one of the founding members of the Communist Party of India in Bihar. It is a genre-defying work of historical fiction that seeks to track the migration of peoples from the bank of Volga in 6000 BCE to the banks of the Ganga in 1942, the year it first came out. It takes the reader through the evaluation of Indo-European culture and politics over this 8,000-year period with stories that leap across centuries. Volga to Ganga has been translated across languages, Indian and foreign. Volga to Ganga rests on an unusually wide range of travel, reading, and active politics assimilated and presented in a readable format by a public spirited intellectual passionately committed to shaping a new, progressive India. As history and narrative, it seeks to educate, entertain, and inspire its target audience, a Hindi speaking, reasonably literate Indian who might get a sense of the past, present, and likely futures of a people in the throes of an anti-imperialist struggle at home, but also part of a global anti-fascist struggle. Sankrityayana's own ideological preferences, a secular modern India which nevertheless maintains an effective connect with the rich heterodox cultural past, are apparent in the narrative choice of episodes and characters. While its status as fictionalized history absolves it of the responsibility of absolute historical, the shifting terrain of historiography itself, especially in the hotly contested understanding of the Aryans, a debate that has recently gathered heat due to the coincidence of new findings via scientific genetic research and the revival of older anxieties about national origins, renders any dismissal of its lapses moot. The book's strengths are what one would accept of a long durée epic, warts and all. What's most valuable here is the unique coming together of political, historical, and philosophical vision and a creative imagination. Sankrityayana, with characteristic humility, born of Gumakari as a kind of epistemic mode, writes this book as he does others in the spirit of an ongoing collective search for understanding. As he puts it in his preface, he is glad to be corrected, satisfied with his role as pioneer.
Now we will see about the biography of Rahul Sankrityan. Kedarnath Pandey, who later changed his name to Rahul Sankrityan after Gautam Buddha's son, Rahul and Sankrityan meaning assimilator, did perfect justice is giving himself this new name, for he went on to become a renowned Buddhist scholar, popularly recalled as the father of Hindi travel literature. His collection of knowledge had begun at an early age of 9 when he ran away from home in order to explore the unexplored. Rahul Sankrityan aka Kedarnath Pandey was born on 9th April 1893 in Azamgarh district of Uttar Pradesh, India, to an Orthodox Brahmin family. His father, Govardhan Pandey, was a farmer by profession, while his mother, Kulavanti, stayed with her parents. About his career: a writer, a scholar, a socialist, a nationalist, a traveler, a polymath, and a polyglot. With a career as broad as that, it's highly unlikely that India or any other country for that matter will come across such a figure in a very long time. About his writings: his books Volga Si Ganga, translating to A Journey from Volga to Ganga, 7,500 years of historical accounts woven with fiction and then published, is one of his major accomplishments. The book begins in 6000 BC and ends in 1942 AD.
This is Butlin, and I'm going to explain the literary analysis of Volga to Ganga. Volga to Ganga is not just a travelogue, it's an exciting adventure where the author explores different lands and cultures. Imagine going on a big journey like a superhero facing challenges and growing along the way. Rahul takes us to places like Russia and various Asian countries, introducing us to their unique cultures and histories. It's like you're on a tour, learning about how people live in these far off lands and what happened there in the past. So, Volga to Ganga is not just about travel, it's an adventure, a lesson in different cultures and histories, and a story of personal growth. It's like taking a journey of your own through the pages of Volga to Ganga.
So, Volga to Ganga by Rahul Sankrityayana is a novel that explores the historical and the cultural journey of human civilization from the banks of the Volga River in Russia to the Ganges River in India. It provides a panoramic view of the historical context through the lens of the author's extensive travels and research. So, the novel delves into the earliest human migrations, the emergence of ancient civilizations, and the evolution of cultures, language, and religions. It covers the Indus Valley civilization, the Aryan migrations, the rise of Hinduism and Buddhism, the Mauryan and Gupta empires, and the arrival of Islam and the Mughal Empire in India. Sankrityayana's work also touches upon the interactions between India and other cultures, including those of the Central Asia and the Silk Road, as well as the impact of colonialism. It highlights the syncretic nature of Indian culture and the assimilation of our various influences. The novel is not only a historical account but also a reflection on the author's personal experiences and his own intellectual and spiritual journey. It presents a unique perspective on the historical context on the vast and diverse subcontinent of India, offering readers a comprehensive understanding of its rich and complex history.
A comparative study of the novel, a comparative study of Volga to Ganga by Rahul Sankrityayana could involve examining its key features in relation to other literary works, historical accounts, or novels with similar themes. Let's consider a comparative study of Volga to Ganga in relation to some other texts. Comparative analysis with historical novels. Compare the narrative style and historical accuracy of Volga to Ganga with other historical novels that focus on the cultural and historical evolution of a specific region or civilization. Examine how Sanskrit uses multilingual elements and linguistic diversity compared to similar techniques in historical novels. Comparison with travel logs and memories. Analyze how Sanskritans' own life experience and travelogue writing style in Valha to Ganga compared to renowned travelogues or memories by authors who explore diverse cultures and regions. Explore the influence of personal experience and travel narratives on the novel's narrative and thematic development. Comparative study with works on Indian cultural diversity. Investigate how Valga to Ganga fits into the broader context of literature that celebrates India's cultural diversity and historical richness. Compare it with other works that explore the same theme, highlighting unique approaches and perspectives. Assess how the novel contributes to discussion on cultural integration, linguistic diversity, and the unity in diversity concept in India. Comparative analysis of historical and cultural interpretations. Examine how Sanskrit's interpretation of historical and cultural event aligns with or differs from scholarly interpretations. Consider the academic context in which the novel was written and published. Evaluate the novel roles in popularizing certain historical and cultural narratives and its impact on shaping public perceptions. Comparative analysis with other works on Buddhism. Explore how Volga to Ganga contributes to the study of Buddhism in India and its spread. Compare it with and other works that focus on Buddhism's historical and philosophical aspects. Analyze the role of the novel in reviving interest in Buddhism within India and its influence on subsequent Buddhist scholarship. Comparative analysis with cultural identity novels. Examine how the novel addresses questions of cultural identity, assimilation, and continuity in the context of India's history. Compare it to other novels that explore similar themes in different cultural and geographical contexts. In a comparative study of Valha to Ganga, one can gain deeper insight into the novel's unique features and contribution in the realms of historical fiction, cultural exploration, and the celebration of linguistic and cultural diversity. Comparing it with relevant literary and scholarly works can provide a broader perspective on its significance and impact.
Impact and legacy. The novel Olga to Ganga by Rahul Sankrityayana has had a significant impact and it lasting legacy in various ways, cultural awareness and education. The novel played a crucial role in raising cultural awareness among its readers. It provided a comprehensive and engaging exploration of the history, cultures, and civilization of the Indian subcontinent. It continues to be used as educational resource, helping students and scholars understand the complex tapestry of Indian history. Promotion of multilingualism. Sankrityayana's multilingual approach in the novel highlighted the linguistic diversity of India. This has contributed to the promotion of multilingualism and the preservation of ancient and regional languages. Celebration of diversity. Volga to Ganga celebrated the diversity of India, emphasizing the idea of unity in diversity. It underscored the importance of different cultures and traditions in shaping the identity of India. Rival of interest in Buddhism. The novel played a significant role in reviving interest in Buddhism in India. Sankrityayana's writings on Buddhist philosophy and history inspired a new generation to explore the technique of Buddha and the history of Buddhism in India. Literary impact. Volga to Ganga is considered one of the seminal work of Indian literature. It inspired other writers to explore historical and cultural themes in their works. It also is standard for historical fiction in India.
Volga to Ganga as a classical historical travel fiction. The book Volga se Ganga is one of the classical historical fiction which was originally written in Hindi, published in 1944 by Rahul Sankrityayana, who is known as the father of Hindi travel literature. His astonishing description, along with the critical depth of the historical canvas, gives a new insight to the readers. Later, the book was translated to English by Victor Crayon in 1947. It is globally considered as literary classic. The travel literature Volga to Ganga is a historical account of the successful evolution and migration of civilization in the subcontinent. It can be taken as a complete historical account of the migration of the Aryans from Central Europe, that is Volga, to Ganga, which stretched over about 20,000 years. The book takes the readers to the journey from 6000 BC to 1942 AD as an anthology of 20 stories. To begin with the very first chapter of the travel literature fiction, Nisha is about a caveman living in South Russia about 6000 BC. The society naturally was matriarchal at that time, hence, the story is subjected after the leader of the family, which is Nisha. In depth analysis, one can find a literary depth and a steep transformation from a matriarchal society in the first two stories, Nisha 6000 BC and Diva 3500 BC, to a systematic patriarchal society in the rest of the stories. From Amrit Shava 3000 BC onwards, the social change is visible. Reader can easily observe slavery taking over freedom and finally accepting it. As observed in the fourth story, Pruhut 2500 BC, people were trustworthy and not used to the tools which were substituting the older stone equipment. The sixth story, Agira 1800 BC, shows how a man decides and tries to save the Aryan race from shedding its individuality to other races by making them aware and acknowledging them their true culture, referred to as precursor to Vedic rishis. The eighth story, Pravahan 700 BC, explores the fact of how religion gradually became important to people and how the upper class people, along with the priest, manipulated the religion for their own interest and conspired to keep lower class people in doubt for at least 2000 years. Rahul has very well reflected the intermingling of the Indians and the Greeks in the times of Mauryan Empire in the 10th story, Nagduta 335 BC. The attack of Alexander opened the trade routes, thereby exposing the Indian culture to the Greek. The story is also mentioned a glimpse of Islamic trade's arrival in India in Nagduta. Baba Nuruddin 1300 AD, the 15th story, explores the historical facts on the rise of Sufism. The 17th, Rekha Bhagat 1800 AD 1800 AD mentions the so-called civilizing mission of the East India Company, followed by the exploitation it brought to the different regions of India. The final story, Summer 1942 AD, moves and staggers to a different world storytelling of how a man goes on to face the Japanese just because he wants to gain confidence of Soviets. According to him, Soviet Russia was the only nation left to save humanity. Thus, Volga to Ganga is a literary classic with essence of historical authenticity to such a great extent that it becomes nearly impossible to differentiate between fiction and history.
This is all the information about Olga to Ganga. Thank you, ma'am.